Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do my top 5 favorite cards throughout NHL 21. Obviously, with the end game here of the playoff rounds, it's kind of signifying the end of the cycle for NHL 21. So I thought it'd be fun to go back and look at my favorite cards throughout the year. And again, there's context to this video. So it's going to be, if some of the older cards that are out there, it's obviously going to be when I had them early on, and as well as, the longevity of using them. And then obviously just my overall memories of them. There is some definite standouts for sure among these ones specifically. So guys, let me know what your favorite cards are in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe for daily NHL and MLB content. All right, let's get into the video. All right, now I need to preface this by saying, obviously I had a higher end team throughout the entire year. I dropped a lot of money early on in the game to kind of test and see what the best way if you were going to spend money on the game would be, and it obviously allowed me to have some of the best cards at all times throughout. So there isn't a ton of the lower ones. It's going to be a lot of master set cards, and the one that comes to mind coming in at number 5 is the Connor McDavid. Now, here's the caveat. It's not just this 97 Connor McDavid. It's the entire run through leading up to this card. So I'm talking like the 96 all the way down as you go. Because as I was upgrading this card, the 93, 94, as I was upgrading this card, it was absolutely insane to me how much faster he was, even though other cards were already at max speed. There was just something about these Connor McDavid cards that completely separated themselves from pretty much every other winger when this card first came out with the NHL Moments event. It was an absolute blast. It is still my top line left-handed winger. I love these cards, and they check in as my number 5 favorite cards from NHL 21. Coming in at number 4, this guy literally hit the same goal for me almost every other game, the 92 Jack Hughes. And now I always say throughout this year that size on forwards and defensemen and pretty much everyone does really, really matter. And obviously anyone under 6 foot is going to have a little bit of a harder time holding onto the puck down low in the corners. However, there was a goal that I scored with Jack Hughes along the goal line while holding out the forehand, walking out from behind the net, and you could hit it top shelf, and it was insane to me while I was streaming for the few months that I had this card. It would just always go in, and he was just extremely fast, held onto the puck really well, and I was actually stunned at how much I actually like this card, because again, I don't usually play with a smaller forward. So the 92 Jack Hughes, he comes in as my 4th favorite card in NHL 21. In at number 3 was the bronze Guy Fleur. This card hit different from the launch of the game, the synergy combo, and what you could do with him from the very, very get-go in terms of the meta of NHL 21, and just his size and build as a winger was completely unmatched. It wasn't until like basically Winter National, almost January, that other cards on the wing even caught up to him. I mean, it wasn't really until Team of the Year when Pasternak and Panarin were basically meeting what he actually had. The top end speed and phenomenal, almost perfect wrist shot right out of the gate was insane when you had base goaltenders essentially. And it just didn't feel the same when I upgraded him. I upgraded the silver Lafleur, and even in my comment section and people on my Twitch channel, they said the same thing, that it didn't feel the same as that nuts straight line ability of Guy Lafleur. I mean, his wrist shot was legit automatic for the longest portion of this game. It was almost unfair that he got Speedster, but again, it was a launch card, and there's always a little bit of a feeling out process, and because this card was already so good, they couldn't like change it or do anything, and it really made him overpowered. But the 88 Guy Lafleur, one of the best wingers in this game, and the bronze just hit a lot different. Coming in at number 2 is the fantasy master icon, Sean Couturier. Now, this card was one of my favorites, not only because of how dominant it was in the game, but it introduced, increasing sets throughout the year, which I thought was a great implementation into HUT. The ability to, at your own pace, upgrade these cards, and obviously there were some issues throughout that with, gated cards not able to be purchased or found, so you couldn't upgrade them, but it was still a very good feature that needed to be ironed out, obviously, but it was great to see them put it into the game, and I hope it's something that they improve upon in NHL 22. But the 6'3", unbelievable face-off. He's got great speed with howitzer activated, an awesome shot. His wrist shot just inside the blue line has been automatic for me ever since this card got put into the game, and he has been basically my first-line center ever since he was released, and almost everyone else's as well. This was just a dominant card, really fun to use, and he comes in as my second favorite card from NHL 21. And lastly, coming in at number 1, the 90 Miro Heiskanen. Now, if you've been watching me since the start of this year, I told you guys at the very beginning of this event, right at the beginning of NHL 21, that you needed to at least get this card because he was going to be on your team for a long time. And it ended up being true. His speedster distributor combo early on in this game was absolutely nuts, and he just flew. There was something about this card that played faster than his speed even indicated, because the ability to go from your own zone, make one cut, and just beeline straight forward with this Miro Heiskanen card was one of the things I loved about it. There's usually some cards early on in the year that kind of break away from the pack of those base cards that are, a lot of teams fill out from, and this one was no different. The Miro Heiskanen from the very first event, I played 1,000 Hut games before I finally moved on from him, and he probably could have just stayed in my lineup. He was great. His wrist shot was super underrated from the point. And yeah, man, like this is probably going to go down as my favorite card in NHL 21, unless there's something new that comes out that I just absolutely love. But we're at 99 Hut, so it's kind of tough for that. So he joins other favorites of mine, like the fantasy master icon from NHL 20 in Brady Tkachuk. And I mean, NHL 19, probably if I go back, it's probably going to be the master icon, Mike Gartner, but I'd have to think about that one. But yeah, Miro Heiskanen comes in as my favorites card in NHL 21. And guys, let me know what you think and what your favorite cards are. I want to thank you guys again for watching and following along all year long. It's been really fun, and obviously there's still more cards to come out. We're only into May, but obviously things start winding down as we are at the end game, and it's just fun to go back and look back on some of your favorite cards. So again, guys, let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Let me hear your favorites. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.